family. We want to welcome back to another episode of Love and Marriage Unfiltered. I'm here with you. It's your girl, Coach Shabaka, here with my husband.
Your boy, Coach Jay. What's up?
What's going on? So listen, so we think a really hot topic today, okay? So we're going to talk about the other D word. So the last episode, we talked about, some things dealing with divorce and just marriage, right? And things that we wish that we would have known before we got married.
Come on.
But today, we're going to talk about this.
The other D.
Deal breakers, okay? Deal breakers. And so this is a huge thing that's happening really before people even get married. And then we end up carrying that stuff like into the marriage and not even realizing that's setting us up for the fall. That's what I think. What do you agree with that? I mean,
yeah, 100% agree with that. You walk into a marriage, already have these preconceived exit doors. I call them
exit doors. Yep.
I call them exit doors. Like, hey, if this happened, I'm leaving this exit door available because if it don't go down the way I think it should, or if you do X, Y, and Z, I'm hitting that exit door. So, it's just.
But so what I think too is I feel like this was a revelation, okay? Because we came in with all of the okay, well, what are your deal breakers, right? Because when you go through, premarital counseling, there's a question that gets asked, and literally we were just. Me and my husband will just talk. We'll just kind of brainstorm and just talk about things. But I feel like, this is something that probably really needs to be reworked in the premarital community. Because we need to have this conversation about walking in with deal breakers. Now, walking in with a standard is very different than walking in with deal breakers. Because I do feel like we have to have standards on how we want to be treated. Right, you don't want to just let somebody just roll over you. But the deal breaker is you said this, the exit door. We're giving ourselves a way out. Did you really realize we were giving ourselves a way out before? Now we do, but back then,
I didn't because you're talking. So the whole purpose of talking about what's some of your deal breakers is right. Your heart is in the right spot. You're trying to make sure you avoid those things that your significant other may have issues with, right? It's hey, I may show you grace in this area, but in this area, this is my deal breaker. So I think we tried our best to communicate that thoroughly.
Yes.
But at the same time, we're saying to the other person or to ourselves that, hey, if you choose to still do these things, this is my deal breaker. So
that means that we're contingent. I'm gonna walk out. I'm saying I do.
But you know what it is? It's almost like signing a contract and making an addendum.
Okay.
Right? So I relate this to a real estate contract, right? Mm-hmm. So in a real estate contract, you can write out the contract, but you have an addendum, right? Mm-hmm. So if something were to fail, you don't pay your earnest money. Right, you giving me permission as the buyer to back out. I believe that's how I can be. So some of my real estate gurus, it's not really like that, but you guys get.
But we can write a clause. Right. We can add an amendment and addendum
this. It's a way out. It's me being the buyer and you being the seller, right? Okay. So you're selling yourself to me to buy into you for the rest of my life.
How much did I cost?
And you telling me you're telling me you've been honest with me. Right, how the house looks, right? There's no
the land, the foundation.
There's no foreclosure. There's no what is it I'm trying to say? Say if you have
no liens.
Okay, right? So there's no liens, right? So in a marriage, you have liens, you have baggage, you have things that that your heart may still be with your ex, or you may have some things that wasn't your portion. Right. So you may have some things that you bring from your old relationship. So, right. So I think for us, we communicated with that, right? So we
did, and but the thing is, y'all. So that means that we did it too. We gave ourselves these deal breakers. But do you remember what your deal breaker was? Do you remember?
I think my deal breaker was infidelity.
Yes.
Yeah, infidelity in the marriage. Because we talked about marriage, right? So we talked about deal breakers we were dating at the time,
Well, because
we was dating.
We were dating. Because our engagement.
I think this is before we actually went to counseling, or maybe it's after counseling.
No, we knew we were gonna get married, so we went to premarital counseling,
and then that's
when we talked. But let me tell y'all, first of all, so his deal breaker was infidelity. Okay, so I guess he wrote a no cheat clause, right?
Cutting him loose.
Let me tell you. So you know how ladies always go first. So they asked me first, like what my deal breaker was, and if I had, any deal breaker. And so when they came, they kind of listed some things, and they listed like cheating or infidelity. So I went first, and I said that I would give him another chance, or like I didn't make it my deal breaker. So then he goes, and he put infidelity. I wanted to change my answer. I'm just telling you the truth.
I really want to be like,
listen. Okay, you're not good. Like one, we don't want it to happen. We don't. But for the fact that I was like, he would leave me like just straight out if something like, was to happen.
I'm about to say something that a lot of women are not going to agree with, but I know you're not going to agree.
Goodness.
I know, but the fellas will agree with me. But here it is. I'm going to say it anyway, right? This is, real, uncut. So when a woman cheats, it's totally different when a man cheats. I know. It sounds foolish, right? So let me put some context.
Let me sip my coffee. Do y'all have y'all's coffee?
Let me put some context behind it. So typically, most of you guys have heard that, or most of y'all have experienced, or may have unfortunately went through a situation where you had to, have a tough conversation on why the person cheated on you. And a lot of times, men cheat, and there's really no emotions behind it, right? It's not because it's how can I say this? A man can cheat and his heart can still be tied to his wife. I know women thinking like, okay, that's not even like, that's crazy. That's ludicrous. If his heart is tied to me, or if his heart is dedicated to me, why did he cheat in the first place? So when a guy, it's a little bit different, right? So there's some other tangible things that a guy needs that he may or may not feel that he may be getting it from his wife. Therefore, he goes outside of his marriage and he finds those things.
But what are those things?
All right, we can go
there. You said that we cheat,
that's,
but it's more emotional. So so what's happening with the guy?
So I guess you can say some of it can be emotional. So let me be a little bit more specific, right? Because men have emotions too. But I guess what I'm saying is that a guy can cheat and still want to be part of his marriage, still want to keep his marriage intact.
Yeah, we're about to have
typically when a woman cheats, she's already done, right? Her heart is already, like, she may have already gave the marriage an opportunity to go to counseling. She probably have already communicated to her husband. She probably have already done things to make it work. Not all marriages, but just from my 42 years of living and what I know about women, that a majority of women at that time when they, at that very moment when they decide that the marriage is done in their heart, most women, I believe, have already communicated or have showed some signs or tried to ask the husband to go to counseling, so on and so forth, right? So put some effort into it, but by the time she's at the point where she cheats, emotionally, she's already gone, right? With a man can still kind of have feelings for his wife, and it's just there's some tangible things he's not getting. Maybe he's not feeling as a provider in his marriage. Maybe he's not feeling wanted, because a man still needs to feel wanted, right, in his marriage. And sometimes women don't know how, or maybe not aware that you're not providing that emotional need. There you go, for your husband. Therefore, if he may get with a woman outside the marriage, that may make him feel like King Kong.
Okay, King Kong.
So I would say not all men, but a good majority of men. That's probably why they seek to get those voids filled outside the marriage. So that's why I say, and there's some other things too, but that's why I say when a woman's cheat, it's a little bit different. Not to say it's better or worse. It's different parameters why a woman cheats versus why a man cheats.
So,
and that's why.
Okay, he's not gonna let me get.
I'm sorry to bring it full circle. That's why, for me, my deal breaker was infidelity. Because if I knew that if you were to step outside the marriage, I already know that you had a place in your heart, that there's some connection that's already disconnected. So for me, that's why I was just like at that point, because you never know what you're really how you're really gonna take the situation when you walk through it. But at that time,
I feel like the deal breaker is like a threat, because
you take it as a threat. So when I said that, did you take it as a threat?
I mean, I feel like I needed to change my answer.
Like, you did try to change your answer.
I feel like, well, did I? I don't remember.
Because I remember you talking to the pastor and said, "Hey, can I go again? Because maybe that needs to be my deal breaker too." I think you said something.
I think I was probably being funny because I felt like, well, how that's gonna be his deal breaker? Like we dated in college. We went through our stuff. And we're still together. So I'm like, how you gonna put that as a deal breaker? That's honestly kind of how I feel. Yeah. Now our situation might be a little different, but I mean, there are people who dated in other seasons of their life or whatever. But coming back to this whole thing, so you're telling me that if a man cheats and he has his emotional connection, that he still wants his marriage? Because I'm feeling like, no, I feel like the thing is sometimes the man is comfortable with what he is able to get at home. Y'all, we're going on a whole nother. I know. We just gonna flow how. Let's flow. Because I'm feeling, ladies, like this is something that maybe you want to know.
We're talking about deal breakers. We are. This is like a branch off of deal breakers, right? So
yes. So you're saying that for a man, it's different, where there are men. I mean, because I've known people, like, obviously on here we're not gonna call anybody out, right? Like, we're not gonna do that. We wouldn't dare do that. But I personally know we won't. Listen, we have the fear of the Lord. We're not gonna do that. Sure. So my thing is, I know men like who have, and so a percentage of those men were done with their marriage. They were done, emotionally checked out, physically checked out, like done, but didn't want to leave because of the comfort of home, or maybe, the whole saying cheaper to keep her, like they don't want to deal with child support, or maybe they don't want to change. They've been with this person for so long. I'm getting my clothes washed. I'm getting my food cooked.
You know why? Because logically, because men, we process different from a woman. A woman is, when it comes to the point of getting divorced, a woman is going to be thinking about the post. How can I say this? It's going to be the things that are going to take place after the marriage or after the divorce. For a guy, it's all logic for us a lot of times.
But so he's emotionally disconnected. So
logically, he's thinking about if I were to.
So what I'm doing is I'm coming at what you said,
right, about emotions, right?
Yes, and so the man is emotionally checked out too.
Yeah, but a guy is not driven. I think a woman, your driver is the emotion behind it. For men, I don't think the driver is emotion. I think logic. So we're talking about a couple of things right now. What we're talking about is an isolated situation in terms of the D word. Divorce, right? So
divorce, deal
breaker. But we're talking about once a guy decides to step outside his marriage and decide to stay. So that's what I'm saying. A guy sometimes is not emotional.
But based on you wouldn't give the woman the chance to even stay.
But a guy would stay. A
woman would stay.
So a guy would stay because logically it doesn't make sense. A woman is emotionally so she would cheat. So if a woman cheats, 9 times out of 10, she's probably more willing to separate from the marriage. A guy, if he's the one that cheated and stepped out, of course, it's a little bit different. Hopefully,
but if it's not
So right now we're talking. So right now we're talking about if the male in the relationship step outside the marriage. I'm saying, what is the driver for a guy? So obviously, every situation is going to be different. We understand that, but I would say if you line up 50 men, right, and unfortunately, let's say 50 men, you line up 50 guys who stepped outside their marriage. I think the common denominator will be it won't be so much dealing with emotions, right? I just think that there will be some things. Of course, there's going to be some emotions behind it, but I think it'll be some tangible things in terms of how do I feel. Of course, it's emotions, but I think logically for a guy.
So you're gonna stay with a woman because of logic. You're not gonna stay with a woman because you love her and you want to make it work, like as a man.
Well, that's why you will hear a guy, tell his side piece, whatever the case may be, that hey, I don't plan on separating from my wife. He would still want the side piece, but some of you guys have heard some stories, and may have friends, right, that don't plan on separating from my wife, but we can do what we're gonna do. For a woman, she probably checked out trying to figure out, hey, if this works out, I'm willing to separate from my husband. So I just think it's a little bit.
I agree with you to I do agree with you to an extent.
It's still emotional.
I just feel like
it's all emotion involved.
Are emotions, and it sounds to me like the man who cheated plays it safe. The woman who cheated, like she's willing to take the risk.
I gave it a chance, and I'm just emotionally checked out. A guy is not so much emotionally checked out. It's just I need these voids filled. And typically, men sometimes.
Okay, how is he not emotionally checked out? That doesn't. He's emotionally checked out too. Now, can you get his emotions back? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, anything is possible. But he's still emotionally checked out. If he's cheating and it started off, yes, it's physical, but then there were some needs or gaps that weren't being met. Like, I feel like the difference with men and women, like women, like we tap into our emotions. Men,
I just think
y'all don't tap into the emotions.
And a man, they cheat for different reasons.
Yes,
I just think that there's a huge
but I guess my point
division on why these two parties cheat.
But my point is it still stems with emotions. He cheated and it was somewhat emotional. She cheated and it was some type of emotion or something that wasn't getting met. So for you to say the deal breaker was that way, because if I would have cheated, it would have been all, emotional. And then I'm checked out of the marriage. If a man would have cheated, if you would have cheated, it's not all emotional. You're still checked in. Both are checked out. At whatever juncture. One is more willing to take a risk and go out and see what else is there. And sometimes, depending on how long this person has been in the marriage, the man is comfortable and wants to stay. The woman is willing to be uncomfortable and figure it out.
Man, so many levels to it, though.
Right? It really is.
And I'm just
saying it's one scenario.
As you're saying it, I'm just thinking about just how a man thinks, and we're not trying to be on here, and this is not about bashing men or bashing a woman. It's not about that. It's really just kind of giving an insight behind like how a man thinks, how a woman thinks. We're talking about deal breakers and how that can potentially set you up for failure long term. But
and I think too, so y'all hop in the comments really quick. So we kind of having this discussion. Like I like to challenge my husband. We challenge each other. So
yes,
he sweat. I made him. He sweated a little bit. So jump in the comments. Tell us, like, what do you think? How do you feel about like what we're saying? Like as far as the reasons people cheat, whatnot, or the emotional connection. Like, so hop in. Always participate. Want to like see what y'all think and what you have to say.
Come on.
But so segueing to these deal breakers, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I gave you a deal breaker. Did I? I don't remember. I don't recall giving a deal breaker. I know I had some things. What did I get?
You did.
Let me see if I did.
So
what was mine? What was it? I don't know. I don't think I did.
You did. Yeah, you had a deal breaker. I wasn't sure if it was somebody like a deal breaker in terms of like physical or verbal abuse. I'm not sure, and I'm just throwing it out there. That may not be it, but I'm just thinking if that was your deal breaker. Like, hey, if you kind of talking me crazy or even.
Well, maybe it could have been physical. I don't know why. I don't
even attempting to, if I was going to do you type of physical harm, right? Okay. It's like that would be a deal breaker. Like, oh no.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that's
well, that probably wasn't because I still feel like that.
You're like, I'm
where's the skillet?
You can try me if you want.
Where's the skillet? Right? I already told her where we're from. No.
But look, check it out though, right? So I think that the conversation is healthy, and I think one may be thinking and listening to this conversation and say, why wouldn't that be a deal breaker? If a man is potentially showing some type of signs of aggression, that should be a deal breaker. Should it not be a deal breaker? But that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that you shouldn't have some boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. We should have some boundaries, expectations. But let me say this. I don't know why I listed it as a deal breaker, because let me tell you, if I felt that way about you, I would have never married you. And no, you can't always, gauge and
you can't always pick it up.
You can't always pick it up. But here's what I will say. Is that when we allow the Holy Spirit?
Oh, come on! You can, yes, you can.
Come on,
yes.
He lives inside of us,
discernment,
and we allow Him to speak into us versus our emotions, like leading us down a path.
Yes,
our emotions will lead us to a path that's like a dead end, no way out. But I feel like we can know because the Lord, He doesn't allow us to go into the future blind.
Oh, that's good.
And so when we end up and we hit this wall, we really have to go back and say, okay, well, where was the Lord speaking to me? When did He say this? How did I miss it? And normally, if we kind of go back,
the signs are there, huh?
Yeah. So hindsight is like, are you going to always get everything right on your own? No. But when we lean on the Lord, yes.
He will reveal it.
I just had an advantage. I knew you. I already knew you. Because we grew up together and then we dated in college. So I knew some things that I could potentially expect from you.
Yes. Here's another thing. Mm-hmm. In addition to allowing the Holy Spirit to reveal or using your discernment to reveal a person's true face, I think a woman, the other tool that you guys have is just give it time. I think a lot of times, because there again, women,
that's a whole nother.
I know. So what I'm just thinking about that.
Y'all need to hear this one. I think we need to do one where you're just lessons for the ladies, because
you got to give it time. We'll talk about that. That'd be another topic, but
y'all gonna have to come back for that one. I'm not even gonna allow him to go into this one because y'all need to come.
It's deep.
Y'all gotta come back.
Time, just allowing time to reveal itself.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him. He's gonna tell y'all how to make sure he's right. Yes. How to make sure he is right. And these are things that we tell, we'll tell our daughter, we'll tell our niece, we tell people. Yes. He's gonna tell y'all, just not today.
But back to the deal breakers though. You mentioned something, just using your discernment, but having boundaries,
Yes.
And maybe not looking at deal breakers, right? You may bring it up, but maybe not looking at deal breakers as a exit, but really just trying to understand that, hey, this is, if you do X, Y, and Z, this is crossing the line, and this is where this is a sit down conversation. This is going to be an intervention. This is going to be
this is. Yes.
I think really understanding the why behind the what. So what made you do that? We talked about it, but what made you, as a woman, what did I do that made you feel like he wasn't protected? Or, for a guy, is like a woman or wife asking a husband, hey, what is it that I'm not doing that's making you not feel like you're the head of the household? So it's just really asking those questions and really not seeing a deal breaker as like you said, an exit, right away, but looking at it as more of a boundary. And having that conversation.
Because if we say divorce is never on the table, right? And so we are a kingdom marriage. So the Lord brought us together. And so we believe that we're speaking to many other people. Like if the Lord sent you here to, our channel, to listen in to this podcast, then likely you're in a kingdom marriage or you're preparing for a kingdom marriage. And so that's who God has called us to speak to, is married people, but more specifically, those who He has joined together, right? And so I think when it comes to deal breakers alludes to like eventually this is going to lead me there, right? Which is out. But we said in a previous video, we had said we take the like divorce off the table. We kind of were throwing that word around, and then we realized like, no, like we got to stop throwing that word because like what do we say? Like our words create worlds.
Yes.
And so then we can like lead it like, oh, see, I knew that wasn't gonna work. Well, I mean, if you've been speaking it and then it doesn't work, it's like our words have more power than what we even like understand. Yeah. You know, and so I'm kind of thinking about like, so we went through the premarital counseling, we got married, so now we're starting to walk some of the things out. And so like some of them we might have called them deal breakers, or maybe they were just like our boundaries or expectations, but we still came in with this notion, right, of deal breakers or how we felt about like certain things, all the things we talked about. And so I want to look at like how bringing that stuff into the marriage, I feel like it really set us up for some hard years up front because it didn't leave us room for the other person to really get to understand. You know, you remember how like, I'll give you an example, like something that was important to me is communication. Like communication, do not make me feel unprotected. Don't make me feel unsafe. I feel unsafe, unprotected if I can't talk to you, or if you know, leave in an argument or a discussion or whatever. And so my thing is, I want to talk right now. Yeah. And that was an expectation that I set like in the beginning. Like I put that down in the beginning, like this is what I want, right? Well, my husband's natural bent is like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Like, give me
a week, and we can circle back and talk about it if we still, you know, that's all it was.
But he wouldn't tell me he needed a week. Right. He'd make it like, babe, we want to talk about it right now. Like, give me time. Yeah. So to me, time is like before we go to bed. I'm like, the Bible says, don't go to bed upset. Like, figure it out. Like, resolve it before we, you know, go to sleep. And so that's what I wanted to do. Yes. Well, he can go to bed. I mean, I'm proud. My back is to him. His back is to me. I'm just like, so he gonna go the whole night. I might be like trying to look sad, like put on the sad face.
I had to do better, fellas.
And it did not work.
To do better. That's not what you do. So I had to learn. I had to grow.
Well, yeah, but we both honestly ended up growing from it because I wanted to talk right then, and sometimes it wasn't like a good time to talk. It was like, let's go. Yeah. And so how those things that were our deal breakers, or the things, you know, that we said of this and that, like how it really was, I feel like somewhat destroying our marriage in the beginning.
I think we should have extended more grace to one another. And
so grace, extend more grace. Yeah, okay.
I will say outside of the verbal abuse, right? Outside of the physical, outside of you know, I really believe there's some things where it's kind of hard to say. I think, you know, I think some things in a marriage, if you see, it's kind of hard to come back from. I think anybody can change, but, you know, I'm thinking of it from two sides, right? I'm thinking of the other side that if you don't extend grace and a person does this deal breaker across this border, you rob the person of getting better, right? Or you rob them of them potentially seeing the side of themselves that they may not see. Mm-hmm. And if you just, you know, you leave and exit the exit door because this person did whatever based off your deal breakers, that may be the right person. They may just be a good person, but just maybe terrible in a marriage, right? You will see that. You can see.
You said terrible,
right? But you can have a good-hearted person, and just how they ebb and flow in a marriage.
So they're learning.
Yeah, they still learning.
I won't call them terrible.
Well, it's like a job, right? And look at it like this. It's like a job. Okay. You can get a job and not be so good at your job, right? You can be a good person, come in on time. You know, you may have this learning curve, right? On paper, you look good. On paper, when you're dating somebody, on paper, they look good. But then once you actually get married to them, and you see that,
every day,
they got bad, you know, they got a...
Maybe they smack or something.
Right? They got, you know... a
couple
extra kids that they didn't tell you about, or they got
Okay. I need them to know that.
Right. But what I'm saying is, on paper they look good, and I think everyone tries to put their best foot forward when you're dating, and but that's why I say for especially for a woman and a male, but specifically for a woman, you have to give it time. You guys have to give it time to. I need to see you in different seasons. I need to see you.
So he's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no, I'm just touching on the surface. You have to give. You have to see a person in different seasons. So with that said, you have to not only you have to give it time, but like I said before, you have to extend grace. You have to communicate.
Yeah, I will say like some of the things. I mean, thank goodness, like we haven't experienced, that in our marriage as far as us stepping out on each other. Yeah. I will say like we had difficult, seasons in our life where we really had to like silence the voices, like other voices. So silence social media, silence family, silence. I mean, sometimes we had to be silent. I know I did. And so I feel like the thing that was like this is a good one. The thing that was like, the communication, I won't say was a deal breaker for me, but it was important. Like it was I like to communicate. I want to put things on the table because I used to like, if I couldn't get this out, like I'm not going to sleep, I can't function. Like I wanted to like talk to my husband and it would make me like super emotional. Like if I couldn't talk to you, and just get this out and then we'd be okay. I didn't like to be in conflict with you and leave. And then like you work, I work or whatever. I didn't like that. And so what I would say that the Lord did with that whole deal breaker communication, the Lord began to work on me first because I would be praying and praying and praying. I'm praying for him. Lord, change him, Lord. Lord, change him, Lord. Change. Yes. And I wanted the Lord to change you in these particular areas. And then, there was a point where I looked up and the Lord challenged me and he started changing me. And so what the Lord did with that, even though it was like my thing, my deal breaker, the thing I need from him, this thing is making me so unhappy. The Lord really challenged me to change. And so as the Lord changed me, then, I had to find more peace. I had to not allow, my day to be messed up because we had, an argument. Like I had to learn how to have like this peace in all situations and learn how to give you what you needed. And so I feel like I started to make deposits because I think in a marriage, and this is important, y'all. In a marriage, there's always both people typically, when there's conflict, both people are typically waiting for the other person to change.
Yes.
It's like, well, if he does this, then I'll do that. Right. Well, if she would do this, then I would do that. And everybody's waiting. Somebody has to go first. And I feel like in different areas of our marriage, we went first. Like you would always apologize for stuff. Even some people probably feel like he should apologize for it.
Even when I didn't know what I did, I just had
to be apologizing. But I would apologize to you for what you mean for like okay. But I watched the Lord like really shape and mold me to become the woman, the wife who could obtain that from you. And I feel like because I started to change and I started to give, I started to see the man that I was praying for. And then like it turned into now we can communicate because the Lord fixed me to where I'm like, I'm going to give him his time and space. Or ladies, I'm not going to bring up every single situation like that happens. I need to talk now. Like I had to become the wife who would go and pray versus the wife who's like we need to talk. I need to talk to you. This happened. I had this dream or whatever it was. I learned to go before the Lord and stop going before other people. I just stopped talking to everybody and just said, okay, I'm going to commune with the Father. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that helped me in our marriage. When I was saying earlier how like we both needed to do something different. And I needed to stop pressing you to like, I want to talk right now.
I get it, yeah.
So like the deposits. I started making deposits and then like there were times I needed to withdraw and be like, no, like we need to talk about this. I want to talk today.
I think because I know somebody may be thinking, but what if, like, what will cause me to just walk away from a situation?
And situation or marriage?
Marriage. I'm sorry, marriage. Okay. Right. So I think had you had this deal breaker that, hey, any man or any guy that I'm with, my husband, he cannot communicate, oh, I'm just leaving. So we would have missed out on the opportunities that we have right now.
Yeah.
And you was able to stick through it and you know, extend grace. Pray. That's why it's such a blessing to have a praying woman or a praying. In this case, it was a blessing because you was able to extend grace to me and be patient until I was able to allow the Holy Spirit to work some things in me, dealing with my heart posture. And here we are. So
yeah.
I think you definitely should have some boundaries. Those boundaries should create some conversations, maybe counseling, whatever the case may be, to work through those things. You may have to go outside the marriage to get some help or maybe a different perspective on it. So,
or even a seasoned marriage.
So if you're talking about a character flaw, because I want to create the difference, because there are some situations where you have to walk away, right? And I don't want to get off this conversation and a woman thinking that, hey, so you telling me I need to stick through it if a guy put his hands on me or something like that, right? Not saying that, but what I'm saying is if there's a character flaw, if there's something that outside the of physical abuse that you may be going through or verbal, but if it's a character flaw, if it's something that is just something that it's a heart posture, I think that definitely should have some boundaries. But there are some certain occasions that for a woman or even sometimes for a man, that if this were to happen and a person show their true colors, that you may need to look at other options. And I'll just leave it at that because, we live in an era now that is, it's back in the day, women used to just stick it through, right? So back in the day, women used to go through a lot more than what women are willing to go through these days. Right?
I mean, I think,
and we won't even go deep into that. So it's a different era. So I just want to point that out, that boundaries are good, and you gotta have discernment.
Yep.
And you gotta allow time to reveal a person's true character, their true face, right? The atmosphere. So,
and that's honestly in the dating phase. Like,
that is,
we should know that before we get before we get. Now, don't get me wrong, people do change, but like that should be picked up like when you're in the phase of dating. But I think, more so for kingdom marriages, the reason why I'm specifying kingdom marriages, because we know the enemy hates marriage and he will do anything that he can to tear them apart.
Yes, indeed.
Right? And so that's what was happening with us. Yes. I mean, I'm telling y'all, like, there were some days where we like, is this gonna work? Listen.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the kids when you want to see the kids. I'm about to, like...
Yeah, we had those conversations.
We had them. And I mean, on both ends, I feel like on both ends, there were times where you felt like wit's end. There were times where I felt like it. And then the Lord really ended up speaking to us. And I think that, one key thing is that when we were doing this marriage thing, like in our own strength, oh my goodness, it was like pulling a ton of bricks, like pulling these bricks.
Not happening.
And when we finally like surrendered our marriage and really, because God was always in it, but we hadn't given him full control. Yeah. And there were things that we had to like let go of. And the Lord showed us this is spiritual. Like, the enemy is coming against your marriage. And when he showed us that, because we always like Team Strong, we always Team Strong. Yes, and so I think once we did that, that was the pivotal moment. Agreed. Where things changed.
Yes.
And now when he get on my nerves or I get on his nerves, we work through it. And we know
quicker.
Oh my goodness.
We work through them a lot quicker because you're still gonna have some you're still gonna see things different. You're still gonna have some differences throughout the marriage as your significant other continue to grow and things change. Your ideology about just life, raising kids may end up changing. Just things that may have bothered you 2 years ago It's no longer bother you, and vice versa. Things that, hey, it wasn't an issue last year, so why is it an issue now? So you have to continue what we learn in counseling. You have to continue to adjust as your significant other adjusts. Have those conversations. So I think what's healthy for us is that we typically try to debrief or just see how the person is. That's why it's so important to have date nights and debrief at the night. Once you put the kids to sleep, or some of you guys that may not have kids, and at the end of the day, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, debrief with your significant other and just have conversations, no matter what it's talking about. You know, there's got to be a serious conversation. Like, how was your day? Right? Yeah. Just so, yeah.
Listen, I feel this is something that needed to be talked about, because I feel like talking about this can save a marriage.
Yes.
Talking about this can make you be more open-minded to not miss your Boaz, right? Or miss your Ruth. Yes. You don't want to miss people. You don't want to miss the one because of a silly deal breaker, right? Like, because some deal breakers are kind of like silly. It's you got certain deal breakers. It's like, oh, you must not want to be married. You must not want to be married, because you're definitely going to go through that, and that. Yes, right. And so the key is, are you willing? Do you find the right person who you're willing to stick it out with, who you're willing to go through the deep waters? That's really what it is finding the right one to go through it with. Because I don't care who you marry, who you end up with. He can tell you all the right things, or she can tell you all the right things. At the end of the day, it is almost guaranteed, certified that you're going to go through, certain parts with communication or raising the kids or finances or, now social media, or he's on the phone, or I like this, he doesn't like that. And you're going to go through it. Yes, so pick the right person. Don't miss out on the person who God has for you because of something that's really minor. Okay. So that's for somebody. I don't know who that's for, but if I spoke it and it hits you, you felt the Holy Spirit on that, great. Take that and sit on it, pray about it, and ask the Lord, to help you work through it, because you never want to miss out on opportunities. Because a lot of times, and we can talk about this is a good one. Yes. I think I got the next one. What you got? So, how your purposes are intertwined, how they're connected. Ooh. Because let me tell you, there are things that the Lord has called me to do. There are things the Lord has called my husband to do. And it's so intertwined, and you can not marry the right person. I did that, but thanks be to God. But it's connected. Your purposes are connected, and I'm supposed to help him accomplish some of the things that God's called him to, and vice versa. So marriage is so critical, and marrying the right person, y'all, is so important. So important. So
it's paramount. Yep. Yeah. Y'all, I hope y'all like the combo. Yes. What a good conversation. Come on. Yes. Let's go. Hey guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for pulling up on us, guys. Having a cup of coffee with us, keeping it real, uncut. If you like it, do us a favor before you get off. Hit the subscribe button, right? Hit the like button and share this. Share this if you're not going through, maybe you're single, and maybe you have a desire to get in a marriage, or maybe you have someone who's in a marriage that will learn from this combo. Mm-hmm. Send it to them, guys. Share this conversation.
Share it out. Reach the masses. Help our channel grow.
Come on.
We're so happy that you become a part of our community. And listen, y'all know that we'll be back, okay, with another hot topic. So thank you so much for tuning in today with Coach Baca.
Coach Jay.
Yes, Love and Marriage Unfiltered. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Peace.